How's it going, YouTube? Don here. In this video, we're going to talk about if coding bootcamps are a scam. So, I've seen a lot of people ask the question of whether they should go to coding bootcamp, and I just wanted to provide a little bit of value here and provide my opinions on it, right? Now, I will disclose I've never attended a bootcamp myself. I have considered it, but at the end of the day, I decided not to go through and invest in going to a coding bootcamp. In this video, I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why. So, what I got up here is I got a couple of coding bootcamps that I want to discuss over here. So, one of them is App Academy here. One of the more well-known ones is Lambda School, also known as Bloomtech nowadays. So, one of the things that is really interesting to me, and I don't want you guys to fall into the trap of, is ISAs. So the thing about ISAs is, you don't pay until you get a position. But at the end of the day, you have to consider the return on investment on the ISA in general, right? So if we go here, go to the tuition refund guarantee, we go to you don't get job offers paying at least 50 grand a year within 360 days, you don't have to pay. Now, if you're reading this marketing material and you say, oh, great, I don't have to pay until I actually get a job. But at the end of the day, what you have to realize is, are you actually getting a good ROI and can you make it work? Those are the questions I don't think that people actually ask themselves. So if you take a look here, we see that it's $21,000. So we go over here and we see that 50 grand, this is $4,000 a month. So we go to the pay up front, and then, we can either pay in one installment or defer it. So you take a look here, 110% tuition guaranteed. So you see here, you'll make the same whether you're paying 50,000 or 150,000, right? So here's another thing, right? If you are making 150,000, it doesn't really apply to you. But if you're making $50,000, like straight out of these coding boot camps, then you're gonna really struggle, right? Just to live, because you have to pay off this coding boot camp, and you have to pay off the actual. Had to pay for rent and stuff like that. And I don't even know, because they don't disclose it. That's another thing that really is really shady about this, is they don't disclose how much you actually have to pay. We know that it's 21,000, but over what time period, right? So let's just say that it was 21,000 and you had to pay it over a year, right? So you can see here that it's $1,750. Now let's say that you live in California, right? So if you live in California and you get a job that pays you $50,000 a year, right? Change it to monthly, that's $3,186 your take home pay, right? And then you have to 3,186 minus 1,750. You can see here that you have $14,000 left over, right? $14,000 to eat, $14,000 to have a place to sleep at night, $14,000 to provide for your family. Is that really worth it at the end of the day, right? Like, what I want you guys to know is, don't fall into the marketing. Make a smart decision based on your current situation. What you want to do, if you're considering a coding bootcamp, is to ask them, how much and what is the deferred tuition option, right? Because that's really important. Now, another thing that I want to cover in this video as well is there's a lot of shady and almost scammy coding bootcamps out there that you want to be careful of. Now, the three ones that I brought here, I know people that came out of the program. They're doing quite well. It's pretty legit, right? But regardless, you might end up in one of the $50,000 positions, right? It's almost like gambling. I would really think twice on whether you should pursue the coding bootcamp route. Now, I might be a little bit biased here because I believe in self-taught. And the thing is, here's another thing, right? What you learn at coding bootcamp, you can easily learn on your own, right? And what you can easily learn on your own, you don't have to pay anybody. Now, yes, you do get the accountability, you do get a teacher that is in front of you, but is it really worth 20 grand in order to learn that particular skill, right? What I would do if I was in that position is I would try to learn on my own, and I would really try to see if I actually enjoy it. Now, the third topic I really want to talk about is job demand, right? So if I go to LinkedIn right now, and I'm just going to go to my jobs area, right? And we're going to see exactly what companies are looking for, right? Because a lot of these coding boot camps, if you take a look here, we'll shrink this over here, JavaScript and Python, right? So it's going to be very front end, full stack kind of catered towards, right? Full stack web, data science, back end web development, right? Back end, I haven't seen much, right? In terms of coding bootcamps, most of it will be front end, right? So if I look at my jobs over here, and this is based on what I've been applying to recently anyway, React, TypeScript, that's pretty good. Front end again, full stack, front end, software engineer, right? You want to take a look at this and you want to see what people are asking for in real time. And then you want to take into account what the type it takes to actually get through the program and what you're going to learn, right? So you see here APIs. This is more of a back end position. So you can see here there is a good mix of front end, full stack, DevOps is another one that I've seen a little bit. So you want to take a look into these positions and see what companies are actually looking for, right? Because before you spend 25,000 in a web dev course, you can see here that they run JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js, React, Redux, Python, and SQL, right? So before you take the plunge and before you go about uh, to actually learn it, then what you want to do is you want to really search through the jobs. You want to see what the bootcamp is actually charging. I would personally hop on the phone and talk to somebody, but the best method is to first self-teach yourself, right? Self-teach yourself, and then afterwards, if you actually enjoy the what you're actually learning, then it might be time to go through a coding bootcamp because that's actually the last point that I want to go over in this video. Is just very very fast. The coding bootcamp pace is very quick, and it might not take you 12 weeks to absorb all the material. You might not be ready for algorithm interviews. You might not be ready to actually build your own projects on your own because it just goes so fast. So those are some considerations that I want you guys to go through before you consider dropping 20 grand on a uh, coding bootcamp. And another thing, actually, is the fact that you have to be you have to be a U.S. citizen in order for you to actually get the ISA, right? Because I was a Canadian citizen and I was considering going for these American boot camps. But because I wasn't an American citizen, I would have to pay up front, right? So that's another thing that might deter you a lot away. And who wants to pay $21,000 up front with no guarantee that they're actually going to get the job, right? So make sure you guys read all the fine print. Make sure that you guys, make a wise decision before you invest your hard-earned money into your coding bootcamp, right? See if the coding bootcamp can work in the worst case scenario. See if you can survive on $50,000 a year minus the coding bootcamp fee, right? Because to be honest, I live in the Bay Area right now, and I make $70,000 a year. So even $70,000 is really really low. I had to live with a roommate and stuff like that. Can you live on $14,000 a month? Probably not, unless you live with your parents, right? So take those into account. I hope this video was helpful. If you like these like loom kind of styles, let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, as it really helps support the channel here, and I'll see you in the next video.